Hi, you guys. This morning I want to talk to you about your article of the week, and I want to show you some little tips for how to make that an assignment where you can feel more successful. Okay, there are some features that you can use, and I'm not sure you know that you can use them. So this is just going to be a short video showing you how you can use those features. You're going to open the article of the week. And when you go to the article of the week, you have the little link here that you click, just like every week. If you're not already signed in, just sign in with your school Google account, just like I'm doing right now. So what I see here is I have an assignment called It Helps to Be Kind to Yourself. And when I scroll down, I see here's the article right here. Okay. I also noticed that a lot of people still aren't reading the instructions. Some of you by now just have them memorized, but some of you just aren't reading them at all. So we're going to go through those again in a minute, okay? If for some reason when you try to log into Newsella, it's not working for you, like you don't see the assignment right away, this button here, just click here on assignments, and it takes you to all the assignments I've given you this year. So it has... This is the top assignment right here. You just need to click on it. All right. So here, I open the assignment, and I want you to see right up here, this button with a number. Right now, it says 1120L. That's something called a Lexile level. That's a comfort level in reading. Okay, we can give you tests to find out what your Lexile level is, what your comfort level is in reading, the vocabulary that you have, and the sentence structure that's easiest for you to understand, and et cetera, et cetera. That's what that means in a nutshell. Really, you don't need to know much more than that. It's just a comfort level, all right? So when you click on that, you're going to see that there are several L's. There are several Lexile levels that you can read this in. The people at Newsella have actually hired people to take every article that they put on their website and rewrite it at different comfort levels. So what I want you to make sure you're doing every week is I want you to make sure that you are reading it at the best level for you. So if you scroll down here and you start reading and you find that your head is swimming in the first couple of paragraphs and you're like, I'm really not quite sure what's going on here. This is confusing for me. Then I want you to go right here to this Lexile level. And I want you to bump it down a little, okay? Maybe go to the, if we go down to 820, we'll see that there is slightly different language. So here, let me go back. If we read it at this level, 1120, it says, many of us start out the new year by making a list of resolutions. Changes we want to make to be happier, such as eating better, volunteering more often, and so on. But as we know, we often fail, and after a few failures, we will typically give up and go back to our old habits. Why is it so hard to stick to resolutions that require us to make effective or lasting changes? I would argue that the problem isn't that we try and fail. The problem is how we treat ourselves when we fail. I study self-compassion. My research and that of others show how we relate to personal failure affects our resilience. It is incredibly important whether we react with kindness or harsh self-judgment. So when I look at this, if I see, there are words here that are confusing to me. Self-compassion, resilience, self-judgment. If I'm looking and seeing a lot of words here that I'm like, I'm not quite sure I'm going to really understand this article, then I can go here and I can readjust it. So, again, I'm going to try the 820, okay? So it's written a little differently. Many of us will start out the new year by making a list of resolutions. These are changes we want to make us happier, such as eating better, being a better friend, and so on. But as we know, we will often fail. After a few failures, we will usually give up and go back to our old habits. Why is it so hard to stick to resolutions and make lasting changes? I will argue that the problem is not that we try and fail. The problem is how we treat ourselves when we fail. So this is broken down. The sentences are slightly shorter. It has shorter paragraphs. So if you are one of those people who has attention deficit, and you find it hard to focus on big, giant, long chunks of information, maybe a different comfort level of reading would be better for you because it's broken up into smaller chunks. Okay? The wording is slightly different. You guys, I need you every week when you do Article of the Week to adjust this to whatever level you need to make sure that you are comfortable reading it and that you understand most, if not all, of what you are reading. Okay? I don't care if you have to adjust it all the way down to the lowest level that's available. If that's what's best for you, that's simply what's best for you. So I want you to see this function. I want you to use this function. All right, so everything that you do, your question that you answer, and the quiz questions are all going to be based on the level that you are reading. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. Another thing I want to show you is that here at the top, you can see that there's a read aloud button. So if I click this.
Try Being Kind to Yourself by Kristen Neff, The Conversation, adapted by Newsela staff. Published January 1st, 2020.
Now, I'm hoping that the recording is catching that. What's happening is the computer is reading this article to me, and it's highlighting each word as it reads the words. So if you're one of those people who you understand things better when you hear them, then I want you to use that function, okay? So, like, I also want you to remember, I want you to actually be watching and reading along while you're listening, because that's one way to become a better reader, is when you hear it and see it at the same time. It's okay just to hear it, it's okay just to see it, but doing both at the same time is the absolute best thing you can do for yourself, okay? All right, so back to the actual assignment itself, and I've posted here in the assignments here. Sorry, you can hear my dog in the background. When you actually open the assignment, you should be able to see the instructions. So the instructions are the same every single week. 1, highlight any text that surprises you in yellow and write a comment explaining why it surprises you. All text that surprises you. I'm not saying just find one thing that surprises you and highlight that. I'm saying anything that surprises you. So if there are 50 things that surprise you in this article, you need to highlight 50 things and tell me why. 50 is a really big exaggeration. You're not going to find 50. But if you find 2 or 3, then highlight them all. Don't just do one. 2, highlight any text that makes you question or wonder in pink and write a comment that states your question or explains what it makes you wonder about. Again, I don't want just one question. I want you to highlight, if there are 3 things that you question or wonder about, I want you to highlight all 3 of them and tell me why. What are your questions? What does it make you wonder? If you don't have anything that you question, then you don't need to highlight anything in pink. Maybe 5 things surprised you, but nothing made you wonder. So you'll have 5 annotations that are yellow and none that are pink, and that's okay. 3, highlight any text that confirms, challenges, or changes your beliefs in green, and write a comment explaining why you agree, that's confirming your beliefs, why you disagree, that's something that challenges your beliefs, or why it caused you to think differently, something that changed your beliefs. So again, I don't want you to just find one thing that confirms, challenges, or changes your beliefs. I want you to highlight any and everything that confirms, challenges, or changes. And I want you to annotate. So what I'm getting at, and I've said this before this year, but a lot of you still aren't catching on. Some of you are under the impression that I only want you to make 3 annotations and that they absolutely have to be 1 surprise, 1 question, and 1 CCC. That is not what I'm asking you to do. I am saying you need to annotate several things according to how you are thinking while you are reading. So if you have 8 questions while you're reading, then I should see 8 things highlighted in pink with an annotation off to the side that says what you question or what you are wondering or why you are confused. Because often a question is something that makes you confused, or that you're confused about, rather. Okay? So please make sure that you are highlighting and you're annotating from the beginning to the end. Because when I see people highlight 3 things at the beginning and then they don't highlight anything else and they don't do any more annotations, then I assume that they probably didn't read the rest of the article. Or at least they didn't show me they were thinking about the rest of the article. All right? You should be highlighting from the very beginning to the very end. There should be annotations from the first question or thought that you have all the way to the last question or thought that you have. So some of you, when you do your article of the week, are going to have, 6 or 7 annotations, and some of you might have more than that. Okay? So hopefully that helps you. And I'm also going to post a poll today. I want to do 2 things. One is I want to just do article of the week on Mondays from now on, because I think that might make it easier for you guys and you might feel like you have less of a workload. And 2 is I want to offer to possibly do article of the week together on Mondays in a live session. So I'm going to ask how many of you would be interested in doing that. For today, I want you to go ahead, do this article of the week today. It's the only thing I am going to give you today. Okay? If you have any questions, reach out, email, text, call. Don't leave me a comment here in Google Classroom because I might not see it. Don't send me a Clever message because I only check Clever every couple days. Email, call, text. Have a wonderful Monday.